Okay, good evening, guys.
Good evening, sir.
What was the last discussion?
It was the CRUD operations that with the APIs and all.
Okay, we were done with the third, right?
Right. And
Do you have any questions or we
no,
are
we
good?
have done the assignments and all that you gave, like to do a simple add, edit, delete functionality with the subscribe way of calling those things observable way.
So you are saying we are good now, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, then we can continue with a new topic.
yes, sir.
Okay, fine then.
পড়ার ভাই এখন দেখে লাভ নেই আর ইন্টারভিউ আছে
Hope my screen is visible. Yeah, so we discussed HTTP client. Today we will understand what is models in Angular. What is the use of models in Angular? Anyone who has some prior knowledge, can you explain what is models and what is the need of model?
Yeah, like it's a kind of extra strict checking. You can say like in our once the data comes from the API and we assign somewhere, like we check that similar kind of instead of string we are getting string, integer we are getting integers. Sometimes if they send something else and because of that our code should not be break.
Okay, okay, got it. Anyone else?
Models means it's a group of components. If we create the models for different section or
No. That is module. There are two things. There are two things. One is module. One is model.
okay.
Today I'm talking about model.
Is it related to the model of the MVC?
No, it's not the model of MVC.
Okay.
You are saying MVC, M part, right?
Yes, sir.
No,
Okay.
but we can relate. We can relate.
Okay.
Architect means architect.
Okay, no problem. I'll explain. No worries. It's okay. Now, I think we were discussing employee CRUD component, right? We were discussing this employee CRUD component. And so here I have to start my database also. To start my database, I'll go to database folder and I'll say JSON server --watch employees.json. Now it should be able to fetch the data. Yeah. Let's understand what is the use of model. What is the use of model? Suppose in this table only, I want to display another column in employee CRUD only. Let's say I have another column
তো এটা কর
in
কোনটা রাখ
employee list. I have another column.
10টার মধ্যে
The
করতে হবে
column name is
আনলিমিটেড টাইম নেই
full name. Full name. Suppose here I have another column called after name. I have full name. If I have full name, we have to say emp.fastname and emp.fastname, then emp.lastname. This is how we have to do, right? So when we do this, it says this is first name, this is last name, first name, last name. What if tomorrow, my client says, let's understand the problem statement.
নেটে ঘেটে দেখ
My client says, I don't want
আর নতুন করে আবার নামিয়ে নিয়ে কর তুই যদি না পারলে
I don't want Sachin Tendulkar. I want Tendulkar Sachin. What we have to do for that? What we have to do for that? Again, we have to go and wherever it is used employee.firstname, employee.last name, we have to change it to last name and first name, right? The sequence we have to change it, right?
But it will change for everyone.
It will be a change for everyone
Yes.
wherever it is used, right?
ইয়েস
What is the solution for this? What is the better solution for this? Do you think?
Get the data from API like that.
No. Suppose the API will return individual field, first name and last name. You have to do it in UI only.
So initially first name last name separately used to be shown. Now you want to show it in a full name one way.
And no. Now it is showing Ranjan Swai. Tomorrow my client says first show the last name, then show the first name. Swai Ranjan.
Okay.
What we have to do? We have to change the
Code
sequence.
change.
We can create a pipe. We can change only design. Yes.
Hmm?
I mean,
How can we do it?
without code change, you are asking.
No, we have to do some code change, but not in HTML. So where all places it is used, everywhere we should not change.
Achha,
We
you will
should
keep
change
the
in a
first name
single
as,
place and it should reflect everywhere.
and you will keep the first name as first name, last name as last name in the line number 17 also.
We can do that, but if the same object is used by 10 HTML files, in all HTML files we have to change, right?
And we can globally reassign that last name to first name and first name to last name during the time of object assignment. It's not the recommended.
No, this is where the model comes into picture, right? This is where the model comes into picture, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. This is where the model comes into picture. What is model and what is the use of model? Let's understand. Handling the raw JSON object is really painful and hard to maintain. Users have a first name and a last name. The full name of your user within your templates look like this. This is how we have written now. What if my customer says first display last name, then first name? What will happen? We have to change the sequence, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
We have to change the sequence. Without changing the sequence, how can we do it? For that we need model. Next. Another good reason for using models like this is what we are working with TypeScript. We want to know the type of things when we use them and not just the any. Everywhere we are using any. Let's not use any. Let's not use any everywhere. Let's use the proper data type. These are the two reasons why we use model. First thing is data type checking. Second thing is, if you deal with the direct JSON object, you cannot write any logic. Logic means, let's say you want to show up first name, last name. You want to calculate yearly salary. Those things cannot be done easily if we don't use model. The solution for these two problems are model. Now let us understand how to create model. First, I will explain. To create model in Angular, we have two options. One is interface. One is interface. The second thing is one is interface. Second thing is class. There are two ways we can implement model in Angular: using interface concept, using class concept. We will understand which is more powerful. Yes, definitely class is more powerful. And when to use interface, when to use class, that also we will discuss. Yes. Interfaces are used in TypeScript to perform type checking. Interface cannot be used to instantiate. We cannot instantiate interface. Interfaces are used only to check the data type. Classes are used not only for type checking, but also if we need some methods. They are used to instantiate. Let me show you one example. For, for interface as a model, we can use interface as a model. We can use class as model. First, I will start with interface as model. What is interface as model? I am explaining first. For that, I'll create another component. The component name will be I'll create a component here. ng generate component comments component. ng generate component components. Comments is a component.
This is not our project, regular project.
Another project.
Yes.
This is the one, right? Yeah. I was trying in React project. Sorry. Yeah, this is our project. ng generate component components. Comments is a component. First of all, I am explaining interface as a model. Then I'll create a service also. ng generate services comments. There is a service called comments. There is a component called comments. What I'll do in center component, let me use app comments. Now it should say comments component is working. Now what is my intention? My intention is to fetch the data from this URL. From this URL, I'll fetch the data and I will display this comments data in comments component. To do this, first of all, I'll go to comments service. In comments service, I'll write a method get all comments. This I have to inject HTTP client. Okay. Then I will say, if I am going fast, you have to stop me. Let me know if something is not clear. Are you clear so far?
Yes.
So here I'll write return this dot http client dot get. This is the URL. So when we write like this, it will return all the comments. Now I'll go to comments component. In comments component, I'll declare a variable comments. Then I will inject comment service. Then in ng on init, I will write this dot comment subscription, or else you do it later. This dot comment service dot get all comments dot subscribe. Subscribe will give me the response. Once I get the response, we say this dot comments is equal to response. This dot comments equal to response. To avoid this kind of problem, we are writing any. This comments, now we can print in comments HTML. We can have it's two comments with interface is model. Then we will create a table, tr, thead, then th. Here we will say post id, id name, email, body, id name, email, body. Then t body, tr. This row will be repeated. Star ng4 is equal to let comment of comments, then tt comment dot id, comment dot name, email.
Shortcut you are using to copy the name line to next three line.
Alt shift down arrow.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Now I should be able to show all the comments data in an array. So here I'll use class name text center and class name equal to table ordered. Okay, so this is our comments data. Anybody has any question so far? So far we didn't do anything special. This is the old way of doing the things, right?
Right.
This is the old way of doing the things. In service, we have a method. That method is called by this component, and the data is rendered in UI. So this has a lot of limitations. This has a lot of problems. What is the problem? Here you can see everywhere we have used any. We should avoid these things, right? There is no strict checking. There is no type checking. Nothing is there. Right? Understood?
Yes.
Now we will understand what is the use of model. Let's understand model. What is model? Model means structure. Model means structure. What do you mean by model? Model means structure. Structure means whenever we fetch the data from whenever we fetch the data from API, we should define what is the structure of our response. What is the structure of our response? What is the structure of our response? Okay. Models for what standard objects in our application should look like, right? Model represents the structure of the object, right? So this is how we should create interface. Okay. So a model represents the structure of the data object. So how the data object looks like, what all fields should be there inside that object. That data object structure should be created using interface, and that is called model. Now what we will do, let's create a structure. If you look at here, our object has post ID, post ID, name, email, body. So let's create a model for our object. What we will do, ng generate interface models. In models, I will create one model comment. Comment is the model. So when we do this, it created one interface called comment. Export interface comment. What is this interface? This interface will define the structure of every comment object. If you look at here, this is one array of comments. This is one comment object. This is one comment object. This is one comment object. What is the structure of every comment? Every comment will have one ID, which is a string type field. Then it will have a ID, which is a number type field.
Yeah, hi.
Then name is a
Yeah,
string
I
type
told you,
field. Then
this is better.
email
Yeah.
Email
Two invites I
is
got,
a
tomorrow one and
string type
Thursday
field.
one. I think
Then
tomorrow's one is the latest
body
one.
is
Also
a string type field.
Fine is tomorrow.
So this is how
I just
we create
wanted to make sure that
one
tomorrow only
interface,
that's happening.
and we call this
I told you
interface
like
as
Thursday, but some of the
model.
plans got changed. So
Model,
tomorrow I'm
we can
available.
call it as comment
But actually,
is a
it
model
updated.
now.
I got two. One is Thursday.
Is it clear?
On top of that,
Like
another
interface are
additional mail
same
is tomorrow.
in Angular?
Can you
12
come
to 1,
again?
okay?
Both
Correct.
model
I
and
can
interface
confirm
are
that.
same in Angular?
Okay.
No, model is the technical term. To create a model, we use either interface or class.
Sir, this is not a OOPS interface, right, sir?
This is OOPS interface only.
But sir, there we defined only methods.
Yeah, I understand. In interface, we write variables and methods, but here we have only variables, no methods. This can also be called as interface. Yeah, I understand. I got your question. You are saying in OOPS interface, we find variables. Along with variables, we find abstract methods where no body will be there, right?
Yes, sir.
Abstract methods will be there. Yes. Yes, I understand. When a interface can be called as interface if it has only variables, no methods. So technically, it makes sense, right? Yes. In OOPS, ideally, whenever we create one interface, we see variables and methods. But in Angular, whenever we create one interface, We will see only the variables. Any other questions, or it is clear why did we create this file?
Is it same for class?
Variables declaration where we mention ID that should be synced with the same as what the API written.
Yes, yes.
It means you mentioned small ID, here also small ID. If I'm, okay, is it possible to put a different name here, capital ID in the
We are not
interface?
supposed to do that. We are not supposed to do that.
It
It's
means
the contract between, we are saying that the API response that I'm getting should be of this type.
And the data type should be of same type as we are expecting from API.
Yes, yes,
So, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, so you say we can create a model by using interface or class. Is there any difference?
Yeah, there is a difference. First of all, I'm explaining interface. Interface we use in Angular just to define the structure of the object. If you want to define only the structure of the object, go with interface. My next example will be how to use class. In class, along with defining the structure, we can have some logic also. If you have some logic, then we go with the class. The example could be, let's say your API responds first name and last name, but you want to introduce a method called full name, go with class. If your API responds monthly salary, but you want to have a method called yearly salary, where you will multiply the salary with 12, go with class.
Got
Okay.
it.
So
And
along
is
with
it by default? Is it by default public? I mean, can be accessible from any component?
yes, yes, it is just a structure, not the actual data. So it should be like this.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what did we do? We created one interface. Let's not call it as interface. Let's call it as model. We created a model. We created a structure. Now, whenever the service is fetching the data, now we should mention that this service, if somebody will call get all comments method, what this method is going to return?
Comments.
Comments array, right? What it is going to return?
Comments array.
Comments array.
Not even comments array, it is going to return observable of comments array.
Observable
So
type
here,
of comments.
yeah, so here we have to write observable of comment array. Hope you understand, right? This import I will do. This I will add it here. Where is comment? Comment is not imported, right? I'll import it. This is the one. So what I'm saying if somebody will call get all comments, I will return observable of comment array. This is more readable. This is more strict checking. This is more professional way of writing. In actual projects, you will find like this. You will never find get all comments and return simple like that. No, nowhere you will find that. So what did we do? We created one structure. Now the service is saying, if somebody will call me get all comments method, I will return observable of comment array. So when we add all these things, it increases the readability, it enforces the data type, and there are other benefits also. So it is going to return observable of comment array. So whoever consumes it, when the component consumes it, knows that if I call get all comments method, it will return me. See, when I don't write any, when we don't see any, when we don't write any, we get errors here, right? So to avoid that error, we used to write any. Now going forward, we will not write any. Here we will say response will be of comment type, comment type array. See, the response will be comment array. And here also, I'll mention this is comment array. So this is more type checking, strict type checking. Now, yeah, you see the same program is again working. Now I'll show you one benefit here. You can ask me what is the benefit that we got. Suppose in your response structure, you have not mentioned something. Let's say we have not mentioned one field in the structure, but the API is giving. See, the API is giving me. API is giving me body, but I have not mentioned body in my structure. If I have not mentioned body in my structure, I won't be able to use that field here. If I start using that field, I'll get error. So as soon as I try to use a field, if somebody will try to use a field, he should know that, okay, I'm using body. If I'm using body, why it is failing? Because property body doesn't exist on type comment. So now this component is returning comment array. Comment array means this array should have comment type objects. In that structure, you don't have body. You will not be able to print it. You have to go and mention it, and you should understand I'm going to use another field called body, which is of type string. So it is kind of agreement between front end and back end. Whenever we are fetching the data, we should know what is the structure, what is the object structure, what all fields we are going to use in our HTML. If we are not going to use few of the fields, no need to mention them in this structure. Is it clear? If something is not mentioned in this structure, you are not allowed to use them in HTML. Are we clear?
Sir, one question I have. Other than
Yes.
these 4 fields, whatever mentioned in the model, if API is returning one more field, which might be other new one, and which we are not using and it is not there in the model as well. So does it throw error or will it
No,
accept?
it doesn't throw error. Let's say I'm not using this body part here. Neither I'm using in HTML, nor I have mentioned in the structure. But when I make a API call, I cannot restrict that. I cannot say that in my model there are only 4 things. You give me only 4 things. No, we cannot restrict that. The API will return all of them. The API will return all of them. By creating a model, we cannot enforce API to respond only those fields. In my structure, if I have only 3 things, it doesn't mean that when I hit that URL will give me 3. The URL will give me 5. But the consumers of this service, who all are the consumers? The components, those who are going to use the data from here, the components, the HTMLs, those who are going to use this comment data, they will not be able to use those things. Though it comes from API, the HTML part or the component part, those which are using the service data, they will not be able to use the data. body they will not be able to use.
Okay. And at least whatever fields present in the model, those should be written by the API. That is the only enforcement.
No, even not like that. If I don't mention anything, still the API will return me all of them. Though I cannot use them in HTML, but
Okay.
the API will return them. Hmm? We are enforcing our components to use only these fields. The enforcement is not for API. Hmm? The API will respond as it is, but if the same data is being used by all the components has to follow this standard or this rule. Hope you got it right.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I'll give you one.
So
Please go
one
ahead.
additional check we are getting, I understand, like now comment type of data type, I means this kind of data type. But apart from that, so there is no difference, right? I mean, the earlier way
There
and
is
this
no
way.
difference with interface. There is no difference. Only difference is we can add some type checking.
Hmm.
When we use class, we will see more benefits.
Okay, okay.
If we are clear with interface, I'll go to class example.
Yes, sir, please.
Before I move to class example, do you have any question with interface? We are good. Okay. So with interface, what we are able to achieve? Yes, the API will return the data as it is. It will come up to service. From service, the data goes to lot of components. Those components has to follow this structure. They can use comment and they can use only these all fields that are mentioned in this interface. They cannot use a field which is not mentioned in this interface. That is one benefit of using interface. Now we will understand class. What is class and how to use class as a model. I'll explain you how to use class as a model. For that, what I will do, I will enable employee CRUD. I will go to employee service. If you look at here, do you see any data type enforcement?
No.
No data type enforcement, right? Now, it is being used by employee CRUD component. That is being passed to employee list component. That is being used by employee list HTML. So if you notice here, no enforcement is there. Everything is working fine. It's working fine because everywhere we have used any, which is not good. Now what we will do? Suppose like employee list, we have employee CRUD also. Sorry, employee card also. In employee card, ID first name, last name. Employee.id, employee.first name, employee.last name, employee.last name, salary, and employee.first name, last name. See. So here we have employee list, we have employee card. Now employee list is showing employee ID, employee name, employee full name, employee salary, and all. Okay. Now, I think it should be first name. Okay. Employee ID, name, full name, salary, and all. Here also, I'm showing the same information. Here it is table, here it is card. Now my client told in full name column, don't show first name, last name. Show me last name, first name. What I have to do? What I have to do? I have to search how many places I have used first name, last name, right? In employee card, I have used first name, last name. In employee list, I have used first name, last name. Wherever in the HTML file, I have used first name, last name. I have to swap them, right? I have to swap like this. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
I have to keep searching, right? How
Yes.
many places I have used, and I have to replace like this, right?
Correct.
So is it changed? The sequence is changed.
Yes.
What if day after tomorrow? What if day after tomorrow they will again change the sequence? They say, hey, no, we told you change last name, first name, but we are not happy with this. Can you change it to first name, last name? So we have to find all the occurrences and we have to change the sequence, right?
Yes.
Hmm? So is it a good option? If something is used in 10 places, go and manually change? No, right? No. The solution for this is model. What is the solution for this? The solution for this is model. Now let's do one thing. Let's create a model. And this time we will create a model class, not model interface. So I will create a model class. The model class name is employee. And it's not one interface. It's a class. ng generate class models. Employee is a model class. I'll go to employee model. I'll go to employee model. This is the employee model. Yes or no? This is employee model. In this employee model, what we will do? This is a model. This is a model. Model class. What is the use of model class?
Define the structure.
To enforce that data type, or we can say define the structure. Plus, if you want to write some logic, you can do it here. If you want to write some common logic, we can do it here. So what I'll do, I'll write the structure of every employee. Whenever we hit one API, it gives me employee array. Every employee will have first name, last name, salary, email, and ID. So first of all, I'll define the structure here. Define the structure. I'll copy paste my class example. I already have, no need to type. I'll copy paste here. So I'm creating a employee class. In this employee class, I have employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, employee salary. These are my private variables. I have a constructor. In the constructor, Somebody will pass ID, first name, last name, salary. Then, so this is the structure. Here we are defining the structure. Then here we have some logic. There are two logics. One is get full name. The get full name, if somebody will call get full name, it will return first name and last name. There is a method called get yearly salary. If somebody will call get yearly salary, it will return 12 multiplied by salary. If you have any question in this class, I'm okay to take those questions. Yeah, if a field is missing, we can add that. Don't go by number of fields. Did you understand the logic why we created a class? When we create interface, we cannot have logic like this, and we cannot create object for that class interface. But the good thing with class is, if we have class, we can enforce the structure. Along with the structure, we can use some logic. There are two logic we have here. One is get full name, one is get yearly salary. Now, wherever we are using that first name and last name, can we replace this by emp dot get full name? Do you agree with me now?
Yes.
Yes.
So we can replace with get full name. Here also we can do the same thing. Here also we can do the same thing. Do you agree now?
Yes.
Yes.
If somebody wants to see yearly salary, can we call get yearly salary method like this?
Yes.
And I can use that in employee card also, right? Do you agree with me? So employee object has ID, employee object has first name, last name, salary. If you want yearly salary, call this method on employee object. Yes, if you want full name, call this method. But now it will fail. It will fail now. It is failing. Why it is failing? Because your employee list component is iterating employees array. Okay. Now go and see what is employees array. Here, if you say console.log employees, console.log employees, am I getting employee array? No, I'm not getting employee array. Am I getting employee array? It's not, right? It's not, right? Or let me do one thing. Give me a second. I'll go to employee CRUD. In employee CRUD, let me print here. Is it employee array? No, it's not employee array. It is array of objects. Array of objects and array of employees are two different things. Getting this is not same as getting this. Do you think line number 1 and line number 3 are same?
No.
So now what are we getting? We are getting line number 1. What are we getting? Array of objects. What are we getting?
Array of objects.
But what is our expectation?
Array of employees.
Array of employees.
Model.
Our expectation is array of employee, not array of object. If we get array of object, this object doesn't have, this object has fields, but this object doesn't have full name, yearly salary, those things are not there. So this is not our expectation. To meet our expectation, this is what we get now. We need this. If we need this, what we have to do? Let's understand. For that, what I will do, I'll start from the service. I'll go to service. I'll go to service. In service, what I'll do, if somebody is calling get all employees method, we will return observable of employee. Very good. Employee array. We will return observable of employee array. I will import this. And when your method is returning observable of employee array, this line will fail. So you have to mention that. Okay. Return this. Fine. Now, whoever is calling this service, this component is calling the service, don't have to write any. You can write employee array. And whenever we are making a call, so here we are making a call. Here we are making a call. Get employees. It is not any. It is employee array. Yeah, it is employee array. So, yeah, it looks better at least. Now, even now it will fail. Now it is failing. Why? Because it is still array of objects, not array of employees. Sorry guys. Yeah, it's still array of objects, not array of employees. Do you understand? Huh? To make it array of employees, we have to make a small change in service. We should not return as it is. The way the API returns, we should not return as it is. We should do something here. What is that something? For every employee, we have to create one employee object, then we have to return. To do that, in get employee, we have to add this. We have to add this logic. So what are we doing? Please understand. Please understand. I'll explain this. Let's see in what sequence we are passing. We are passing ID, first name, last name, salary. Okay. So ID, first name, last name, salary. Okay. Is it ID or EID? Let me check. It is the ID.
The class, we no need to instantiate it.
We are instantiating. We are instantiating only.
No, that object we no need to create, employee object.
We are creating employee object here only. So I'll explain. Please understand this. What are we doing? This is extra logic we had to write. And what are we doing here? We are saying this dot HTTP client dot get. If I call this URL, it will give me employee array. It will give me employee array. Then dot pipe. What is this dot pipe? We will get to know more about it tomorrow or day after when we start RxJS. But why are we doing this? Because we will get array of objects. We have to convert array of objects to array of employees. To do that, to do that, to do that, let me explain what are we doing. This dot HTTP client dot get this dot URL. If I hit this URL, observe body means it will make sure that the structure is maintained. Once we get the array of objects, we have to convert them to array of employees. To convert them to array of employees in RxJS, in observable, we have something called pipe. There is a pipe. The pipe name is map. The pipe name is map. Map is not a plain function in RxJS. It is called pipe. I will use map. Map is a function. That map function will take employees array. It will take employee array. That map takes a callback function. That callback function takes employee array. Then what that map will do? It will return. What it will do? Hope you are following me. So first of all, we are calling the URL and getting array of objects. To convert that array of objects to array of employee, we are using a pipe. The pipe name is map. Map will take employees array, then will return another array. So here we have employees. Now for every employee, what we have to do? We have to convert every employee to one employee object. To do that, what we will do in map dot pipe dot map, we got the response. Then by using that response, see this is map, or let's say it is response. This response is the raw response we get it from API. Then response dot map. This is JavaScript map. This here we will get one EMP object of type employee. This is JavaScript map. This is one array. This is map method. This map method takes one employee, then will return one employee object. New employee, we will call employee class by passing emp.id, emp.first name, emp.last name, emp.salary. Do you understand? Maybe it is little difficult to understand at one go, but yes, this is how it works. Do you understand?
So can you repeat the pipe and map, the RxJS one? I mean,
Yeah,
how
I'll-
array of object getting converted to array of employee, did not understand.
So if somebody will call get all employees, what we should return? We should return array of employee, array of employee. This is what we should return, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, we are expecting this type of data.
But return this dot HTTP client dot get. In get, I'll write this dot URL. It will return employee array, but we don't have employee array. We have to convert. When we hit this URL, it will give us observable of employee objects, right?
Yeah, like
To
Thomas,
convert
you
those,
select observable will be.
Yeah,
Yes.
so here we will, our data is in this format, right? Observable of this.
Yes.
To convert it to array of these, we will use a pipe from RxJS. Pipe is a predefined method in RxJS. The pipe that I am trying to use here is map. The pipe name is map. Pipe name is map.
Okay.
That
Pipe name
map,
inside the bracket we need to pass that pipe name.
yes,
Okay.
yes. That map will take response, the raw response, which is of type employee array, and using JavaScript logic, we have to do something. So return response dot map. This is JavaScript map. It will take one employee of type employee, and this will return. It will create one class. It will create one class and will return employee emp dot id, emp dot first name, emp dot last name, emp dot salary. Do you understand now?
Yeah. Now I understand.
Now, if you go and check in the console, what it is returning?
Employee type of things. Array of employee, not an array of object. I mean, this
Now it
employee
is
is having
written.
our full name also and other things also.
Yes, if you go and see, every employee should have get
Full
full
name, yearly
name,
salary.
get
Yeah.
yearly salary, right? So that in HTML we are able to see full name, we are able to see yearly salary, full name, yearly salary, full name, yearly salary, right? So everywhere it is the same thing. Tomorrow they say, I don't want first name, last name. I want last name, first name. Where I will go and change?
The logic in the class.
In the model.
So I'll just go to the model. In the model, I'll just change the sequence. That's all. I don't have to bother how many consumers are there. I don't have to bother. Maybe there are 10 consumers. As of now, there are 2 consumers. Swai Ranjan. Here also it is Swai Ranjan, right? So when we delete in model class, I don't have to worry. I don't have to bother how many consumers are there who are consuming data from this service. So whoever is consuming the data from this service, they will get data in that format. Let's say in yearly salary, they want to do something plus 500. So I don't have to do everywhere. It will be reflected everywhere, right?
Yes.
Do you understand? So we can write some logic in the model class, and that logic will be applied to all the consumers. So when we use a model class, it enforces the data structure. Also, we can have some common logic which will be given to all the consumers of that service. Is it clear?
Yes, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So, first of all, go to the model.
Yes.
So in the model class, we must have the constructor, right?
We should have a constructor using which the instance will be created.
Okay. And the second question is, for any data manipulation, like full name or the annual salary, should it be a method, or can we define the variable like within the uh, employee class?
It
And
should
instead
be
of method, can it be just a variable like full name?
it should be again method so that it can be directly called by the consumer, not by the model. So when you create a model, it means you are just creating a structure. So we should not calculate yearly salary, and we should not keep it in our variable. So just write a function so that the consumer, if it is interested, let him call. If not interested, will not call the function.
Okay.
From that service, we are returning the employee object. So we are able to get this, right?
Yes. Now Gaurav is asking a question. Should we also use getters and setters here? So when we create a model class, we can have getters and setters, but we are not supposed to create getters and setters for each and every variable. We know that if there are 4 variables, then there should be 4 getters and 4 setters, right? So we should not have getter and setter for each variable. We should have getters and setters only for the logic. Yeah, I know they are not called getters, but yes, we can have only logic, and for them we should write function. Don't declare getter setter for each variable. If your class has 10 variables, don't declare 10 getters and 10 setters. No, that is not required for model
So we are
classes.
using constructor na to set the data, like initialization of data. There is two way we
No,
can
no, no, no.
initialize.
See, so that control is not there with the component. Employee list component doesn't have that control.
No,
That
service is
control
having.
is there only in the service. Now
Hmm.
Gaurav is asking, what if somebody wants to update something? So should we have getters and setters? That is what his question is. And my answer is no, we will not have getters and setters.
So we now manipulated the object, right? Array of object to a kind of array of employees. We do all the other card operations, and during the post, so we need to again reconvert to that array of object and
Exactly,
pass.
exactly, exactly. That is why this model is there. So now we have implemented only for gate. If somebody will post a new employee, add employee, he should not be able to add if he is not converting it to employee object. If somebody is giving me one car object, I should not accept that. If somebody is giving me one user object, I should not accept that. So while adding also, it should be of employee type only.
So all card operation will be done on top of the employee object only. And
Yeah, yeah.
during post,
During post also, the consumer has to create one employee object and has to pass it to. If I add a restriction here, I'm expecting only employee, so give me employee object. That's all. I'm done. Now service is done. So whoever will call has to pass employee object, not any object. This is not a valid payload now.
no, that I understand, but add employee, get employee, delete employee is fine. But during post also we will expect that kind of strict enforcement, like we will do that. But during the API submission, the payload, so there so I should not pass this kind of extra class in the prototype, right? I mean, we need to create the previous structure, right? Array of object kind of structure, or how we are going to do that. Like initially, we used to receive from API JSON structure, right? Array of objects,
Hmm.
and we converted to the array of employee. We are done with our CRUD operations. Now API will not understand, right, array of employees, because that is some modifications are there in the UI level, like addition of
API will not understand array of employees. API will understand
array
object
of
only,
object only,
plain
right?
object. Yes.
So we need to again reconvert to array of object before sending to the final data to the API. You got my point.
So in which method you are talking about? Add
Let's
or
say line number 15. Line number 15 is we are receiving. Line number 15, this kind of data we are receiving, right? And line number 21, this kind of data we are preparing. Correct? line number
Yes.
21 kind of data we are preparing, right? So we are done with our CRUD
Yes.
operations, but during the final submission post call, we need to pass line number 15 kind type of data to API only, right?
Anything is fine because this employee object indirectly will have those fields.
Okay, okay,
So it
okay.
is fine. If you pass array of employee also, it is fine.
Okay. I mean, does not matter if I have something in the prototype or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the implementation that you did on from line number 16 to 18, is this the way we should follow in industry standard, or we are yet
Yes,
to learn
yes.
something else?
No, this is the way we should handle every API. So in industry, people will write this logic in the service.
Okay.
Actually, this
So the
code is
reason I am
written whatever
asking
in that
maybe
class available that we can access in component. If
Can you
we
come
add a
again?
new method in that class employee, that will be automatically available in component.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yes, yes.
That's true.
Because
Alok, you were
we are
saying.
returning the
Uh-huh.
employee object.
Hmm. You were saying
so what I
something,
was
Alok?
telling, yeah. So what I'm telling is maybe we are yet to learn something. Then tomorrow you will say, okay, do this way. So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I'm asking.
There will be a slightly change, but 90% of the things are covered. There will
Actually,
be a
it
slight
depends on
change.
the company's project and standard. Actually, I work in different companies, but both companies are not going to same framework. They are doing different coding structure and a different implementation behavior of application. We can see it will be depend on company's project structure and behavior.
Yeah, but 95 when 95% of the companies are following a structure, we can say that is the standard structure, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that way we can say this is the standard structure.
And this map is not the JavaScript map, the RSJX map. You
This
pipe
is
the,
not map. This is RxJS map. Line number 16 is RxJS map.
it is not a
Line
higher
number
order function. It is not a higher order. It is also a higher order function.
it's a higher order function.
But it does a different task like the our own JavaScript map.
It is 99% similar like JavaScript map only. Only
Huh?
thing is if you have to use this operator, you have to
With
use
pipe.
pipe word. Without pipe word, you cannot use this.
Okay. And because it is also at the end of the day getting the employee type of object and converting it
Correct.
something
It is
one
at
by
the end
one.
of the day getting employee array and returning some other array, right,
Yeah, that is
guys?
also constructed using map, but anyways, doing some transformation kind of thing.
Because why are we using pipe? It's not a this URL is not going to return me array. It is going to return me observable.
Observable.
If it is returning me observable, I cannot use JavaScript map here.
Yeah.
So
So
we need
observable
to
type of something
understand.
we need to use to work with that.
Yes, this URL will give me observable. It's not returning me plain array. If it was plain array, maybe I would have
JavaScript,
not used this. Yeah.
Then line number
As
17,
it is,
18. Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, directly I could have used this. As it
Yes.
is returning me observable, I have to go with this.
Okay.
Now, hope you understood the importance of interface and class, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
So we should always use class, we can say, right? I mean, if we need some logic like this
If you
kind of.
need some logic, go with class. If you need only the structure check, go with interface.
And during interface, we don't no need to do this kind of pipe and map to
We
get the
have to
data.
do nothing. We have to do nothing.
Dot subscribe is enough over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we are dealing with array of object only, not with this kind of transformation of class.
We are not transforming anything. We are just making sure that whatever fields are mentioned in the interface, the consumer, the HTML should use them, should not
Yeah.
use anything apart from that list. should not use anything other than this list. That is what our intention is. But here, that is not the only intention. Our intention is to use only these properties and this logic.
Yes, got it. Makes sense.
And we are transforming array of objects to array of employees. That is the main thing here. So that is the main thing. Array of employees, not array of object.
Object, not array of object.
And every employee has those properties plus
Some methods.
logic. This is the main part. And this is the industry standard. Every service should follow this. If you are creating a service, you should use either interface or class. If you are not using, we are not following the standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the employee class imported to the service
Yes.
case file.
Employee class is imported to service file. Yes. Even employee class is imported to CRUD file. Here also it is imported. This guy is, though this guy is doing nothing, it is just mentioning that I need employee type data. If service will return something else, let's say service will return car, this guy will not take. Right? Everywhere we have the check. Now service is bound to pass employee array. The component is bound to take employee array. So every level we have checked now.
There are other pipes also that you will discuss later. Those.
Yes, we are yet to start observable topic
Okay,
itself.
okay.
Yeah, something came up. I had to discuss that. Otherwise, we are yet to discuss observable. Today's discussion was only model, how to use model, what is the importance of model.
Can you
Yeah,
please share code?
yeah, I'll do it right away.
If these are the only two methods through which we can create the model, right?
Yes,
Only
yes.
the class and model.
Interface and class.
Yes. Yeah.
And make a habit of using this model whenever you create a service. So when you make a habit of using this model, when you start developing something for your office, if you are in a habit of creating model, there also it will come out of the flow. You don't have to think it is extra burden. Don't think creating a model is extra thing. No, it's not extra thing. It's a good coding standard.
Sir, in my project, I have noticed some models which are
Okay.
created as a array of objects. Like for example, if you have any filters in the dashboards, so for
Okay.
each filter type, so they have an object created, array of objects.
Okay.
So if it is like some drop downs are there, then what is the type and what is the name, what is the validation that they have created as a model. So is it also the model?
Yes, that is also model. Is it possible to show that piece of code? At least a photo of that?
Yeah, I can click.
Sanjay, I think we can stop the recording.
Yeah, we can stop.
Recording stopped.
Are you planning to share your screen or send something in the WhatsApp?
I am sending the WhatsApp only because I'm in the virtual machine. It is code in the virtual machine. I will not be able to
Yeah,
share it.
yeah, fine. We can check there.
No. Even this model can import other models also, right?
Yes, one model can import other model also.
I have a custom data type, for example, inside my
Yeah,
employee object, address type, let's say. Address can be a model, state, like that.
okay, this is the value. This is a value. This
These
is a
are
value.
created
This
under models folder, so that's why I just
no,
thought it
it's
could
not
be
a model.
models.
It's a value.
Could you
It's
please share
a.
the screen?
Is it possible to share, sir?
I
And
can
you,
share. It's just a array value. Export const screening list filter data. It is just one array. This array is being used in one of the HTML file.
this is static value. I mean,
It's
hard-coded
one,
value.
yeah, array data.
But inside
By
the array
using this,
data, validations, validator.pattern, there
ha
is.
ha, because in this array, if there are 10 objects, they want to create 10 input box in the form. So
Oh,
that part is done dynamically, but this is not a model. It's one array data.
Yes. This is a constant variable one.
It's a
This is not
constant variable.
what part is
So
dynamically done, sir? Can you explain once again?
value.
the screening list filter data is one array. If it has 10 objects in the form, there will be 10 fields.
Correct.
First field will be drop down. Second field will be text box. Third field will be text box. Fourth field will be file upload. So they want to create a form, but that form is created dynamically by writing a for loop. If there are 10 objects, 10 input fields will be shown in the form. One can be input box, second thing can be drop down, third thing can be checkbox. That comes from the array. It is for that purpose. Is it correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Depends on the data type and the text box or it there drop down or file upload control like this.
Yeah.
It will dynamically bind the UI.
How many fields will be there in the form? I don't know. What type of fields will be there? I don't know.
Yes.
I have one array. I will give you the array. You should create a form for me.
So
For
yes.
that purpose, this array can be used.
So yes.
There is also validation is there. Validation purpose is there. One of the
Yeah.
field is there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what type of validation you want to apply? Pattern or pattern or min
Max
length,
length, min
max
length,
length.
required.
That also we can mention. We are yet to discuss this topic. Even we have in our plan.
Yes. Validations is your plan.
Yeah, fine. Okay, that's all for today. We'll connect tomorrow then.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Bye.